spending years in the corporate world successfully managing hundreds of employees for private and publicly traded company. Today's guest is a spiritual executive coach and the founder of Create Magic at Work. Our company intends to offer spiritual intelligence and emotional intelligence practices to energize and transform the workplace. Welcome to the show, Amy. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing well today. Thank you. I'm excited. The sun's out, so it feels good.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Beautiful over there in California, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me and making out time to be on this episode of Mirror Talk podcast. I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to everything I'm going to learn from you today. Like even before we started recording, I said, I'm looking forward to learning about, spiritual intelligence. What's that all about? I'm looking forward to learning about emotional intelligence also. But before we jump into all of that wonderfulness, I'd love you to, just share a little bit about your life and your career journey so far. Like, what have you done so far in life that led you to this point of life or point in life right now?
Yeah. Oh, how do I sum that up in a quick podcast interview? I decided to leave my corporate executive job a couple of years ago. And I actually planned on leaving the job for over a year. I didn't tell anybody about it, but I planned it for myself. And the reason why is because I felt like my creativity had like a lid on it in the workplace. And I also was doing a lot of these connecting activities with my employees that was really improving their leadership and how they connect with one another and how they have meaningful relationships. And so I wanted to really just go full time into this space and spread the message that connecting with each other authentically can bring so much value in the workplace, and that leaders really need to focus on this because it's a win-win. It improves their profitability and productivity on top of, creating some great things for humanity.
That's very true. Yeah. And that's so wonderful. I love the fact that, you went on that path to create magic at work, basically. And it's a wonderful, you have a book titled, Create Magic at Work. And also your company is also bearing the same name. And, I love the fact that your company is all about, filling the void for individuals who may feel isolated and, exhausted from loneliness in the workplace, a place where it's filled with people. It happens a lot of time that, we're in a gathering of people, a gathering of professionals, but we still feel lonely. We feel exhausted from all the tasks. And I'm so happy that, your mission is to, fill that void for people. So can you just, tell me more about Create Magic at Work and the services that you offer to people?
Yeah. So I will, but just to add to your point on that loneliness piece, the Harvard Business Review came out with a research article prior to the pandemic that really showed that people feel burnt out at work, not necessarily because of their workload. It could be because of that, but also because they feel isolated. And so when you connect with each other, it actually helps with that feeling of burnout, that connection. Yes. And that was really powerful to me. And at that time, I was doing these activities with my employees that were bringing them together. So when I left my corporate executive job, basically what I did was I put all of the activities that I created and that I did with my employees, my coworkers, my colleagues, I put it in the book. And I called it Create Magic at Work. And then from there, the brand was born. And the book is super fun. I made it childlike. I put beautiful illustrations in it on purpose. I used a magical mermaid artist. I used the same book designer that did the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books because it was so cool because I wanted to make sure that when you held a copy of the book, you felt like that childlike play feeling back in the workplace or in your, business or whatever you do if you're a solopreneur. And that was the goal, because when you do that, when you tap into that creativity, it brings inspiration and innovation to the workplace. And that's sort of how the Create Magic at Work brand was born. And now I come out with a lot of companion products that match the activities in the book that people can utilize.
I will encourage everyone to get the book. I'm going to place the link to your website in the show note of this episode. So I encourage everyone to visit your website and get further information about the book and where to order it from. That'll be so amazing. It's life transforming.
Thank you for that. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yes. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. Yeah. So what is your definition for spiritual intelligence?
Yeah. So along that journey, as I became a certified executive coach with UC Berkeley, I discovered I was working on my spirituality at home. I was really into it. And I was sort of, how can I be my full authentic self in any space, which is what we all want to do deep down. We want to be able to not, what mask am I going to put on today when I walk into this room? We want to take all the masks off, and it feels so freeing when we do. And I went on this journey where everyone was asking me about my spiritual tools, my spirituality. And then I discovered spiritual intelligence for the workplace. And it was a amazing discovery to me that it was so cool because it was faith neutral. You can be atheist, you can be agnostic, as long as you believe there is a place within you that you can access that comes from wisdom and compassion and love. You can work on skill building in SQ, spiritual intelligence. And there is a framework that I work with leaders in the workplace. There's 21 skills that are listed that help you sort of ground down into skill building in SQ. So there's definitely, I loved discovering that because it really helped me speak to leaders in the workplace, or people that are up and coming in the workplace that want to figure out, what's my life purpose? These are some of the things in SQ we talk about as examples. Why am I here? What is my life purpose? Do I know what my values are? And am I living in alignment with who I say I am? I could go on and on, but that's hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah. So that means, spiritual intelligence doesn't have to do with, religion, basically. It just has to do with you believing that, there's a greater being, or there's more to you than the physical, basically. And, tapping into that and finding your life purpose and finding out your reason for being here on earth.
Absolutely.
Is that?
Yeah. And so you could say that for what you just described right now, you could say that's tapping into your higher self instead of your ego. If you are a religious person, or if you follow a religion, that's great. You could tap into that higher power that you have a conversation with. It's whatever helps you access that space where you can make wise and compassionate decisions for others and maintain inner and outer peace, regardless of what situation you're in, or even if you're under great stress. And it's a daily practice, and it's a lifelong journey.
So there's no end to it. You just keep on doing it till we're out of this planet. Yeah.
There's no end. We have to enjoy the ride, right?
Yes, that's true. But how do we now combine spiritual intelligence with emotional intelligence? How do we make that combination? What's the relationship between both of them?
So emotional intelligence is sort of like the gateway to spiritual intelligence. And there's a lot of theories out there, but emotional intelligence is when you don't even have to know what it is or the definition of it. You can just know, I'm practicing being aware of when I'm triggered. Or I'm practicing being aware of what do I feel today? What do I feel? Where is that living in my body? Tying in the physical intelligence to incorporate all of you. And then practicing strategies to manage your emotions properly. And then the third step, building connections. So if you've worked on those types of things, SQ is the next step. SQ is that inner work where I said before, it's, do I know my values? Do I know my life purpose? And that can change throughout your life. You could know your life purpose for years. You could have a life event that changes your circumstances, and you would restart that. A lot of leaders that I work with, the main running theme is, how do I put my ego aside? How do I recognize when my ego is in charge instead of what we just talked about, that place within us that comes from wisdom and compassion? Can I create an awareness for that? That's SQ. And now, can I practice, since I've created this awareness, now can I practice seeking guidance from that inner wisdom? Can I practice operating from that space more? And then the higher levels in leadership get you to, now I'm making wise and compassionate decisions. Now I'm a calm and healing presence for others. Now I'm aligned with the ebb and flow of life. And it's cool.
I can imagine. Yeah. But I can imagine it's a very long journey towards that, that level of, being aligned to life, being aligned to the highs and lows and everything. But you said something that I really want to ask about. You talked about ego. Like, how can I know when my ego is in charge and when how can I know how to put my ego aside also, especially for leaders or for people in organizations?
Yeah. Well, it's probably different for everyone. They probably react differently. I'll go to the science as an easy explanation. A simple way to wrap your brain around it. We'll talk about your brain. So your ego's in charge super easy, when you're triggered and you're in fight, flight, or freeze mode. I use a simple work example. Someone sends you an email that you feel was on the attack. How do you react to that? Do you get on the defensive and fire back at them? Do you freeze in the moment? Or do you want to run away and run home and call in sick the rest of the day? These are just, an example. So when you're triggered, you have about 6 seconds to take a breath before you get into that full triggered state of fight, flight, or freeze. And if you can recognize when you're triggered and take that 6 seconds to breathe, do something with your emotional management strategy that you've maybe worked on a coach with. I talk about creating appreciation anchors. I'm always holding on. I have a lot of magic tools around me. But right now when we're talking, I'm holding on to an appreciation anchor for myself. It's a blue crystal. And I want to make sure I get my message across to your listeners and that we make an impact and send some magic to them. So there's an example of some emotional intelligence things that you can do that are easy.
And also it involves, you being intentional also, like in your practices, in your activities, in everything you do. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So what are some, you've mentioned one already, you holding the crystal, but what are some other spiritual and emotional intelligence practices that can elevate, the profitability of employees in an organization, or the, just the morale of the employees?
Yeah, sure. So we talked about some deeper stuff, right? We talked about the deep SQ stuff. That's why I love Create Magic at Work, because the book's tiny and I wrote it with all of the activities in it. So somebody that doesn't really know where to start, or they're new to this, can just grab it and flip to a page and do something in the workplace. So a couple of examples. I say journal with your team. This is one example that's in the book. And I call it journaling with a twist. So you can be virtual and pull some prompts for your team to journal on, have them rapid write it for 5 to 10 minutes so they don't overthink it. So they're really accessing their higher self. This is really skill building in helping your team access their inner wisdom. And it sounds like, oh, she's telling us to journal. There's so many health benefits to journaling. And so I actually designed a journal prompt card deck for the workplace and for career. and you can pull it, and it has a theme for the workplace and then 2 questions for people to journal on. So you give them that time, and then you have them share with each other. And oh my gosh, once you hear a coworker share their personal dream that they journaled, even if they got on your nerves, it opens you up a little bit to the humanity in each other. And then by default, you work better together. And I'll tell you what, as an executive leader, it freed me up to do my job because they knew each other more, and they would call each other for advice in their own position on whatever projects they were working on, rather than just reaching out to me. And it made the team much stronger.
That's connection. You created that connection between them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, friend. Are you enjoying this episode? We would love to hear from you. Kindly send us a feedback. Are you following us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, maybe on YouTube and other podcast platforms? Are you following us on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook? We would love to connect with you on all platforms. Links and further details are available in the show notes of this episode. Thank you. This spiritual intelligence practice, would it contribute to the stress-free and easy flowing work hard culture within the organization or within the department of the company?
Yeah. So if it contributes to a company culture that has less ego induced drama. So, we're going to have drama in our lives. We're living a life, right? We're in the movie of our own life. There's going to be ups and downs. But what it does is, when you foster these activities, when you focus on skill building as a leader in this area, it creates less drama in the workplace. And it creates a culture where your employees are happier. And high employee engagement, if you have a company that has high employee engagement, you're 21% more profitable than your competition. So this isn't just woo-woo stuff we're talking about here. It actually, which is so interesting to me, more people are jumping on this. They're actually craving this information because it's a win-win. You get to do these fun activities or do this inner work that transforms your life. And oh, by the way, it's going to make your company more profitable and productive. Well,
some people out there, or some listeners out there, were wondering, okay, we're talking about organization now. We're talking about spiritual intelligence. Why are they in the same context? Like, what does spirituality have to do with, my work, my place of work?
I would answer everything.
Yes.
Most of us are on LinkedIn, and I'm on LinkedIn a lot. And there's some themes that stand out to me that I see. One that is talked about a lot is, how can I be my authentic self at work? The other one is, how can I be a servant leader?
Yeah.
And then there's thousands of people that claim they're change agents in their title. Spiritual intelligence helps you work on all of those skills and helps you be a true servant leader. It helps you understand the ripple effect that you're leaving as a human being on the planet.
Yeah.
And as a leader, if you have the courage and the humility to take a look at the 21 skills, or do the inner work, that it is a fun experience, that energy is going to ripple out to your colleagues, your coworkers, your employees. And really, because if you are the leader, if you're in a position of power, it's going to ripple out 10 times over. There's data showing that whatever energy you have as a leader, you can multiply that by 10 to the people that are in your charge.
Wow. Yeah. So it has everything to do with our organization, spiritual intelligence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. So, from your experience, with working with a lot of employees, like you have been managing like hundreds of employees from different companies, public, private. I would love to know, how leaders can build their team as well as transform or even improve their workplaces.
So my short answer to that is, because I know we're talking about a deeper, what would feel like a deep topic, which is spiritual intelligence. My answer to that
Yes.
would be just start with something small and see what
Mm,
happens. Start a
yeah.
meeting off where everyone shares a piece of gratitude
Mm,
and see where that leads you. That shouldn't
yeah.
feel too scary. And
No.
what you'll find are these openings where people are going to crave that more.
Mm,
So start small
yeah.
and have an intention setting moment where everyone shares an intention for the week
Yeah.
that they
Oh,
would
okay.
like, a goal they would like to achieve, or something they want to let go of.
Yes.
Those are some
Okay.
tips I would say, but you have to start. And even if your team isn't used to it, or if you feel like you're that vulnerability where you're like, oh gosh, I can't believe I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just do it, because even if everyone laughs or they get uncomfortable, like, oh my gosh, this is different. Hey, laughter is a stress relief as well, right? And
That's
my
true. Yeah.
employees would laugh, or they would, when they were sharing, or somebody would share something funny, but then somebody would share something super deep, and it was all in the same space and it was
Mm.
all okay.
So you mean at that moment when you're sharing gratitude or talking about what they are grateful for, must it be confined to the work or can it be personal also?
I say open it up to both. Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
That could get juicy sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously you want to be appropriate, right, for the workplace. But opening it
Yes.
up to both, because we were talking about being your authentic self.
Mm, mm,
If you don't
yes.
open it up to both, you're compartmentalizing humans, and you're making them leave a part
That's
of
true.
them aside. And we want to be
Yes.
whole humans wherever we are.
That's true. Yeah. But is there a way that, leaders or team leaders or, owners of organizations or founders like yourself, are there ways in which you can, create safe spaces that will encourage people to speak up, to encourage people to feel free to be themselves at the place of work?
Yeah, I it's through these small steps. It's not
Mm,
something that happens overnight. The
yeah.
psychological safety is creating
Yes.
that trust that if they do share something that's appropriate but personal, that it's
Mm,
received and that it's heard and that they feel seen. You don't have to do anything
mm,
about it. Everyone can just sit and listen. Thank you for sharing. No,
yes.
no repercussions for anything like that.
Yeah. No getting sacked, no getting make fun of or
Right.
something.
And then
Yeah.
you slowly create that psychological safety in the workplace.
Mm,
Um, I heard someone mention the other day that a couple of really top leaders and really popular podcasters, I'm not going to say their names, run their organizations where they don't allow anything negative to be said. If you say
mm,
something negative, you're fired or let go of. And that
oh,
concerned me, because that made me think, I hope that this isn't creating a fake positive environment or toxic positivity, and that people
mm,
aren't being shut down for wanting to speak with feedback. And
yeah.
that's what's beautiful about SQ, is because if you work on the skills of spiritual intelligence,
Mm,
it's working on putting your ego aside. So even if you're speaking
yeah.
up, we know it's not going to be ego induced drama. We know that if you're saying something, it's coming from you practicing seeking your inner guidance and your higher self.
Yes.
And even if there
Oh,
is
yes.
drama, that's okay.
Mm,
We
mm,
can listen and we can hear that. And it's not
yes.
going to be ego induced drama. And we can actually create
Yeah.
innovation from that, from mistakes, from chaos, innovation
Mm,
and inspiration. And that's what takes you into quantum leadership.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, for example, if an organization, a big company, invites you, you're a certified executive spiritual coach, and they say, "Oh, Amy, please, can you come over and just, perform your magic for us over here?" What are like, some things that you first put into place in order to make that atmosphere good spiritually or spiritually
Yeah.
intelligent?
So first of all, I do a lot of experiential workshops and speaking. I do them virtual and in person. And the first thing that we do is we get everyone present and in their body. We're online a lot, we're on social media a lot, and we're out of our body a lot.
Yeah.
And so first we have to get that physical intelligence there. And we have to make sure everyone's in the body. So we'll start with breathing. We'll start with some meditation, turn off all the buzzers and the noises. Let's get here now.
Yes.
Okay, now let's focus. And then we go into what is SQ and how do you create magic at work? And depending on the audience and what they need, we talk about servant leadership at that SQ level. We talk about how to make wise and compassionate decisions, lots of experiential exercises with that, and accessing your higher self.
Yes. And this can be done virtually also, like for, especially during this pandemic, for example, if people like call out to you and say, Amy, please, we need your help. We need to, we need you somewhere in Sydney, Sydney in Australia. It can be done through Zoom, and they'll get the magic.
100%. The interesting thing about this is I left my corporate executive job to pursue this life purpose dream in May of 2019. And I was, just getting the company Create Magic at Work off the ground when lockdown occurred here in the United States in March of 2020. And so everything's been virtual for me. And it's been kind of cool to be able to facilitate that virtually. So yes.
Well, I'm so interested in this. Like, how was it for you though? You're a spiritual coach. You have this spiritual intelligence. You have the emotional intelligence, everything. And then you have to deal with this uncertainty that comes with lockdown, comes with the pandemic. How was that for you? Especially at that point of starting up your company from the ground, basically as a baby back then. How was that for you?
Oh my gosh, it was like it still is. It's a roller coaster ride, as everybody knows that goes on the entrepreneur journey. I had an entrepreneur coach for a while, and I have a friend that I've been business pacing with. She was just a guest on your podcast, Becky Morrison from The Happiness Recipe. And, we would tell each other on Friday, okay, we're going to quit. We're done. But we'll come back Monday, so quit, but come back was that. And then just hanging in the tension, staying in the tension, staying in the uncomfortable. That's a tough one. And it's not easy, but I really believe in all of this, as you can tell how passionate I am about it and how it can really change how people feel and how they feel about themselves and discovering their own inner strengths. It's a beautiful thing. So
yes,
it's been a roller coaster for sure. My book came out and I actually was sick, on the couch when it arrived during COVID. And I was just like, whatever, this will be fine. I guess, what's meant to happen is supposed to happen. And daily reminder that we're open to outcome, but not attached to it is good.
That's true. So we just keep on thriving and we don't give up and we just keep on moving forward.
Yeah.
Wow.
And learn the lessons so they're not repeated.
That's very true. Yes. Just learn the lessons and just improve yourself or work on yourself daily.
Yeah.
Yes.
Recognize, repair, recover, radical self-forgiveness. Those are my 4 R's.
Yeah. Those are important R's.
Yeah.
Yes. Repair, especially repair. You have to repair, and become better. Yes. So now you shared some wisdom, especially your 4 R's with me. But can you share some ways that we could access our inner wisdom for maximum decision-making potential?
Yeah. Well, there's a big overarching one that helps you understand. It helps you tap into your understanding of time and your perception of time. And what you can do is you can really remind yourself how profoundly important your life is. And at the same time, remind yourself that you are a tiny piece of the history of the universe.
Mm.
And if you can make decisions from that space, from that paradox, that is operating from your higher self. So remembering that your life is both extremely profound and yet a tiny piece of the history of the universe. And can you make leadership decisions from that space? And can you practice that? Just practice making decisions from that space.
Mm. Okay, that's true. And that way we're able to tap into that inner wisdom of ours. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But in this day and age where everything is so fast and so digital and everything has to be done quickly, can you advise us on ways to enjoy life, nevertheless, with less stress and also with more balance?
Mm-hmm. I don't want everyone to hate me for this, but I definitely say, because this is how we like promote our businesses, but I say digital detox. Getting back into getting back into the body. Maybe you uninstall a social media app that you feel like you're spending way too much time on for just the weekend. And you say, I'm going to go on a hike. And you start experiencing the beauty of the planet that we're on and start actually living life on the planet and not in a device. For 2022, that's my top piece of advice. I really think 2022's energy is all about play and adventure and understanding that when we prioritize that, our businesses actually thrive more and we actually do better at our jobs.
Yeah, yes. So we have to get connected back to nature, like just, and play and be adventurous too.
Yeah, that's one idea. I mean, and it's different things for different people. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's journaling.
Of course.
Tapping into your higher self in those ways, whatever resonates with you. Some people box, get that stress out, go boxing. Yeah. So think about what makes you feel like when you're in that flow where they say you almost lose time. But don't lose time scrolling. Because we lose time there too, right? I'm meaning more like when we're in the zone, when we're in flow, when we're like, wow, life is beautiful. Where can we find those moments?
That's true. Wow, not on Instagram or TikTok.
Right. I mean, I love both, but they make me laugh. I follow some good stuff, but we also need to understand there's trees out here. There's the sun is out. Let's breathe the air. Let's breathe in some beauty. Exhale ugly. Let's breathe in some confidence and exhale some doubt and experience life
and the planet. Yes. It's so nice that we're talking about spirituality or spiritual intelligence because it has to do with something that's within us, basically, something that's not on the physical, our spiritual self. And sometimes we have some strengths, we have some potentials, we have some hidden talents within us that we have not even discovered yet. So my question now to you is, are there ways we could discover these talents in order to make them, useful for us, basically?
Oh my gosh, all the time. That's like one of the main things that I do one-on-one with clients outside of workshops. If I'm working one-on-one with someone, is they discover strengths that they didn't know that they had. Or that they knew they had, but they couldn't name it. And now they can really run with it. And that's all through spiritual intelligence. I had one client that scored, because there's a spiritual intelligence assessment that I give, and they scored extremely at high levels of being able to operate from their higher self in any space. I was like, wow, did you know you had this like magical superpower that you can really tap into? Because you can change the energy of the people around you by you operating from your higher self. People will automatically start rising to operate from their higher selves. And the client said, you know what? When I was little, the teacher in class used to put the quote unquote bad kid next to me because she said he always behaved better when he sat next to me in class. And it was just something that is a magical gift this person was born with that I was able to name. So there's a lot of cool things that come from the experience with me. And that's just one example. Yeah.
Yes. So is there a way to get across this assessment to us? Like, is there a way we can access it actually? Yes.
So I offer it in in a one-on-one experience that I do. So you just have to reach out to me.
Okay.
And then you start the journey because I have to walk you through it. You take the assessment, then we do coaching around it and put you on that path. And you just take it with you for the rest of your life too.
Wow, that's beautiful. And we can, get across to you through createmagicatwork.com.
.net.
Website.
I tried to get the .com, but it didn't. So it's .net. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm really accessible on LinkedIn. You can just message me. You'll get me talking back to you. Same thing on Instagram. Yes. So I'm here for support and to be a resource for everyone for this.
Yes, the links will be in the show notes of this episode too. So you can just copy the LinkedIn link. LinkedIn link. It's also the link to the LinkedIn page and also to the website that is createmagicatwork.net, and also further information will be in the show notes for everyone to just get across to Amy. Also, you also have a podcast. You are also a podcast to yourself, and so for me, it's like a great honor to have a host of a podcast on my podcast. That's so beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about your podcast also? Can you tell me about Create Magic at Work podcast?
Oh my gosh, I love my podcast, and thank you for bringing it up because I'm really grateful to be a guest on this show. And I started my podcast because I want to, again, advocate for healthy workplaces and help leaders become that way and help them along their journey. And so we have some really fun topics. We'll have like master energy healers on there, but so we just did the season finale of season 1. And the episode is all about if venting about work to your partner or to your roommates or to your friends ruins your relationships. And it's a really cool topic to discover what venting does to the people in your life and how to navigate that. Yeah. So there's an example, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very that was episode 12, I believe. It's a very very important topic actually. Like, when do you switch from your workspace to at the end of the day to your normal casual private life again? You bring everything from work back home, all the frustration, all the stress, all the tension from work. You bring it back home and pour it out on your roommate or your partner or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And if it's your partner, that's not why they started dating you. They want like true. The fresh, beautiful person that you presented when you first started dating. Yeah. So we talk about boundary setting and venting with consciousness. That's one episode, but there's a lot of different topics, and we really weave spiritual intelligence through every episode if you want to hear more. Yeah.
Yes. The link also will be in the show notes. It's available on all platforms, but also easily accessible on createmagicatwork.net.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
Like there's a page for all the episodes there.
Yeah.
For easy accessibility. Yes. So for someone out there who is so curious and still wants to know more about you, what's the best way to connect and work with you? Apart from you said LinkedIn or your Facebook page also, or your websites too. Are there like some other ways one could maybe get a quick call across to you, or a quick way, or to just get some counseling or some advice?
Yeah, I'll say Instagram. If you go to Create Magic at Work for Instagram, I'm under Amy Lynn Durham. That's a fun one. And the reason why I bring that up is because it hasn't been brought up yet. And you can just direct message me. You can email me straight from my website. You can direct message me on LinkedIn. But on Instagram, I do a weekly workplace message that I pull an energy theme from the universe for you for the week. And it gives you some inspiration to kick off your week. And this week's message was success. So it was such a fun one. So if you want to follow that's on Instagram. It's a good one.
Yes. That's good. And on your Twitter too, you have some nice graphics that you put up with setting reposts to the world, for example, or just wonderful quotes that I saw while scrolling through your Twitter feed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I saw it was make a difference. Each day I send a ripple effect into the world, and that is enough.
Yep. Each day I send a ripple effect into the world, and that is enough. I love that you noticed that, because I don't use clip art in my posts that are from the Create Magic at Work brand. I have an illustrator that the illustrations look very simple, but they have deep magical symbolism in them. So look at you noticing that.
Yeah, I did my little research about
it.
It's
cool.
Yes. Wow, it's so awesome speaking with you, Amy. I really appreciate everything I've been able to learn from you in this episode. And I'm looking forward to, to allowing other people out there to learn about spiritual intelligence and also emotional intelligence and how one could use it at the place of work also. Thank you so much for everything you've taught me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I hope we sent some magic to everyone today.
Wow, you made it to the very end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for your time, your love, and your contributions. Subscribe, like, review, and share this podcast. God bless you. Bye.